and welcome to Chai Football. I am Shruthi Nair.
And I'm Joe Morrison.
And you don't sound very happy, Joe Morrison.
I'm
Why
sitting
is that?
opposite you.
Is that why you're sad? I am sad for bigger reasons. And the bigger reason today is, of course, the Asian Cup, which was very, very disappointing. Do you agree?
Qualification for the Asian Cup.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. They're out. That's it. 2027, they will not be getting on a plane to Saudi Arabia.
Can I ask why you care so much? It's not the World Cup. It's the Asian Cup qualifiers. How damaging is this for India?
It is India's World Cup. It is India's World Cup. Because until they change the World Cup to 64 teams, India's chances of getting into the World Cup are zilch at the moment. Certainly anytime soon. There's absolutely no way they're going to get there. So it is their World Cup. It is the tournament that they should be qualifying, considering their ability and their ranking. They should be qualifying for every single edition, because obviously it's every 4 years. So it is their World Cup. I don't know how many times I've heard people in the Indian FA, past presidents go like, you know, our ambition, our goal is to reach World Cup 2034. And then it becomes, our ambition is to reach World Cup 2038. And our ambition is to reach World Cup 2042, 2050. Shut up. The Asian Cup has to be the primary focus. And they're not going to the Asian Cup 2027. So that's it. The next opportunity is 2031.
Oh, wow. So now they have to wait till 2031. That's a long time.
Well, the qualification for 2031 will be before that. I think it's end of 2027 that the qualification journey starts.
Right.
But yeah, 2031 is the... So you think about the players in that team. What we are in 2025, so that is 6 years. How many of those players will never play in a big international tournament again? Again, full stop.
Do you know? Do you know the number?
Well, look at the ages. I mean, you've got to go through the ages of the team. Probably a large portion of that team will not be in Asia 2031, if not all of the team.
Right. I think you've answered why it was damaging. I need to get to what are the things that you would change. But before that, can we just talk about what went wrong?
Well, look, there was a massive backlash after the game about not winning that particular game. I actually wasn't that upset by it. That particular game. I wasn't that upset by it. And people have asked me and said, why are you not like shouting from the rooftops and raging because they lost the Singapore 2-1? I'm going, because that was not the game that killed them. What about all the other fixtures this year?
Right.
Remember when the Spanish bluffer was in charge? Like, they won one game and that was a friendly against the Maldives. They should have beaten Hong Kong. They didn't. You know, people forget India in that Group C were the highest ranked team in the group out of those 4 teams. India, obviously, Bangladesh, Hong Kong, Singapore. They were the highest ranked team.
And today?
They're bottom of the group.
So how do we get here, right? Like, from the highest ranked team to the bottom of the group. That's a journey, downward journey, but it is a journey. How do we get here?
No one... Well, first of all, can't score goals, can't create goal-scoring opportunities. Actually, in that particular game against Singapore, they were a lot more offensive and the better for it. Obviously, the result didn't go their way, but never got anywhere close to goal in all of their qualification games so far. Remember, they've played 4 games. There are 2 more to go. It's all over for India, so they're academic, those games. But,
oh my God, so pessimistic. It's all over for India, what we don't like to hear. So what do you do with the remaining games then?
A great question. A great question. What do you do? I mean, me personally, if you're the coach, you go, right, okay, I've now got to just wipe the board, wipe the slate, and say, who is going to be the team for the next qualification cycle that begins in 2027? So you've got 2 years. Now, 2 years might sound like a long time. It is a long time in terms of calendar time, but it's not a long time in terms of game time at international level, because you only get the FIFA windows, September, October, November, March, and then some games in the summer. Sometimes it's a friendly tournament, whatever. So what's that? 2, 4, 6, 8. You might get 10 matches a year. let's say 12 maximum, depending on how many friendly games you play.
That's not a lot.
It's not a lot.
Yeah.
So for over 2 years, you're going to get a maximum of 24 games to find out who your team is going to be for the Asian Cup 2031.
Right.
So I'd be using those. So to answer your question, I'd be using those remaining 2 games and any friendlies that they have, because they have 2 windows, which means they won't just play 1 game in November or 1 game in March. They'll probably play a friendly alongside it. So you've got 4 games to say, this is the bones of the team that I want to use come 2027. But what's the problem, Sruthi Nair?
What is the problem?
What is the problem with my theory? You do not know that the current coach will be the coach come 2027 when they start the next qualification round. He could be sacked by then.
Right. So.
And all of that goes out the window, because he could be have in his mind, right, I know what I need to do, who I need to pick. I've now got it clear. I'm starting to write out some names on a piece of paper that are going to be there in 2027.
Yeah.
And then he gets fired and a new coach comes in and his names can be completely different.
Is it that volatile?
It's that scrappy.
Let's talk about Khalid Jamil then, right? Like, talk to us about his progress report so far. How has he fared?
So did well in the CAFA. But again, that's a friendly tournament. It was a tough tournament. It was a good tournament. It was a friendly tournament. What, are you asking me like his progress report? So he's done all right. I think his communication with the players has clearly been one of his USPs.
And we spoke about that earlier, right? The fact that he's Indian, the fact that he understands the language, the people, the culture.
Yeah. So that's a good point. He's made the same mistake as every other coach before him, which is every player deserves, I think, 3 games, okay, to prove themselves if they haven't been involved with the national team before. After 3 games, if you haven't delivered in those 3 games, you're gone. And we've seen every coach, Manolo Marquez, Igor Stimac, even going back to Stephen Constantine, just taking a little bit too long to assess a player. You haven't got the time like you have with a club or domestic football. So just make a decision, bang, you haven't delivered, that's your chance. It could be 2 games, by the way, not 3. I'm just saying 3.
Yeah.
Out. Next person in, and just cycle through those positions until you find someone who can prove themselves right from the get-go. Maybe not the first 5 minutes of their first game, but certainly within the first half or within 1 game, within 2 games. So he's made that mistake. And
it looks like what they're doing now, instead of rotating the players, they're rotating the coaches, and everybody comes with a new plan and strategy.
Correct.
And that's very, very disturbing for them.
And you know what coaches do? This is all coaches, by the way. This is not just coaches of India. They all do the same thing. They come in and they want to assess what's already there. Well, all of us as fans sitting watching are going like, this player, and this player has done nothing over the last 3 years. Get them out. So the new coach comes in, right? And by the way, I've been in these meetings. They'll sit down at the table, all the players around sitting there, and they'll go, right, we start with a blank sheet of paper. Everyone's got a chance. No, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, God, you know?
Yeah.
Half of this room shouldn't be sitting here. You've had year after year after year to have a chance. Out. Bring the next ones in. And if they don't do it, bring the next ones in. But what you're doing is you're building a core of a team that's getting bigger and bigger, because you know what? You asked me about how did we get here. We got here because for the whole of 2025 and much of 2024 as well, let's call it this qualifying cycle, India has gone into every game playing with, do you want me to be generous or harsh?
Harsh, please. We love harsh.
With a 7-man team. They've been playing with 7 men in every single game that they've lined up with. What do you mean by that, Joe?
The others have just been weak?
No, what I mean by that is you've gone in with 3 players who are just not international level. On average, 3 players. And you also as well, Sir Bobby Robson, the late great Sir Bobby Robson, God bless his soul, told me this. He said, you will not get every single player performing to their maximum potential in every single game. So you're carrying a player or 2. Some, you have a bad day. I have a bad day. So everybody has an off day.
Yeah.
So if you've got 3 players that shouldn't be in this team, you're now down to 8 players. And then if you've got 1 or 2 players that are having an off day, you're now down to 7 or 6.
And we also had the red card in one of the games with Sandesh.
Yeah,
right?
the red card with Sandesh. So there's a classic example. You know, Sandesh wasn't having a great game, was chasing shadows, I think, for a large portion of that game, and then got sent off. So that's what I would class as one of those players that's having an off day, because that's not Sandesh normally. He's normally one of the top performers. So 2 or 3 players, not at this standard, plus 1 or 2 players that are just having a bad day. How are you ever going to win a match if you are 4 to 5 players down as soon as the whistle blows?
Right. So, hypothetical question to address the coach conundrum. If Stephen Constantine was still coach, right, for all of these years, we're going all the way back there, do you think by now he would have figured it out and we would have had a stronger team? Because, well, you say that, you know, rotating coaches, changing it does, you know, disbalance the whole equation a lot.
That's a great question. Yes and no. I mean, you don't know. It's hypothetical. What you would hope with is that over time he would learn from his mistakes, his own mistakes, tactical, for example, or selection-wise, for example. And at the same time, he would have got a greater knowledge and understanding of the pool of players, because it's impossible to go to every corner of India and find talent that you think you've got the eye to say should be in the national team. It's impossible to do that. You just physically can't do that. You're relying on other pairs of eyes to say, you know what? There's this player called Shruti way down in some far corner of Kerala who I think is good enough to play for the national team. But you're relying on that pair of eyes. Who says that pair of eyes, that coach at a regional level, is good enough to spot someone with the ability to go to the national team? So, and I tell you what the comparison is, Gareth Southgate with England.
Right.
He clearly got better as a coach.
And they all do, right?
They all do.
That's
experience. You get better with experience. I get better with experience. He got better with experience each tournament that he went on with England. But it gets to a point where he just kind of hit a ceiling.
Yeah.
And the question you'd have to ask, hypothetical, would Stephen Constantine have done the same? So, for example, player selection. Would he have been belligerent to stick with a player that everyone is going, look, we've had this player in the team for 1, 2, 3 years, and they've never raised the bar. But sometimes coaches like certain players. You know, they have a connection, they like their character.
Soft corner,
You know?
Right.
So therefore you're carrying a player that's not.
Right. So since we are doing hypothetical questions, if you had to wear the hypothetical coach, manager, president hat, tell me 3 things that you would change.
Oh, 3 things that I would change across Indian football.
Across Indian football.
Number 1, I would spend the big dollars, and it is big dollars, the budget for the coach and the coaching staff, the foreigners, the foreign coaching staff. I wouldn't spend it on the first team. I would spend it on the youth coaches. I would have at under 15, under 18, under 19, whatever, all of those youth levels, international I'm talking about, I would have a top quality foreign coach. That's where I'd spend my budget.
Do you have some names in mind?
Oh, there's so many names out there, because look, the names will come depending on the budget. You know, if you're paying peanuts, then you're not going to get a good quality foreign coach at a youth level.
Yeah.
And the reason I would do that is they, number 1, have a much better ability to spot talent and to then coach that talent and to make sure the talent is as ready as can be expected, that they're then just handed on to the senior team. So they're not the finished article, but they're as good as the finished article. So the senior coach could be bloody Joe Morrison, and I can't coach. But I'm just taking a finished product.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And just gelling them together.
Okay, that's number 1.
So that's number 1. Number 2, I would allow clubs and assist clubs in getting control of their own operational environment. What do I mean by that? Stadiums in particular.
Right.
Cutting through red tape with states, with FAs, regional FAs, etc., to make sure that the clubs can be financially sustainable. And a lot of that stems from having control of their own stadiums. So giving them patches of land, not giving them patches of land, but allowing them to purchase patches of land that, you know, because, by the way, the Indian government at all levels will pull strings and cut red tape for maybe setting up something to do with the Olympics, like athletics or track and field or whatever. and giving them that opportunity to make money.
So infrastructure,
Because it's a business.
operational efficiency.
It's a business.
Sure. And I think that is a whole other podcast, right? We need to talk about that in detail, about the red tape and bureaucracy
Correct.
and all of that.
But in its basic form, Shruti, investment will drive the sport. And at the moment, corporate houses and anyone with money is just going, I'm staring down the barrel at zero return for my effort.
Yeah.
Why should I put money into Indian football?
Don't you think they should be looking at Saudi and the whole business of football that they've created here when it comes to just in the investment side of things? I understand that there's more money here, but there's also intent.
Yeah, there's a lot more intent, but you got to remember football is the number one sport in Saudi, and it's not the number one sport in India.
But it can be, right? I mean, so that's the thing. So every time I am out with my friends, right? They're all
You've
Liverpool.
got friends?
In India. Yes, I've got friends everywhere. But anyway, that's besides the point.
Friend, singular.
You are my friend.
No, I'm not.
Brutal. At least try to be nice. Anyway, so they're fans of Liverpool or Arsenal, and they're diehard fans, right? I've seen grown men cry when, Liverpool loses a match or whatever. And that's the thing. So there is the love for the sport. It's just that it's not directed towards the national sport because they just...
Yeah, but why?
It just isn't there.
Why?
It's not big enough. It's not sufficient or substantial enough.
Why?
We've discussed the reasons, right?
Why?
All of these... the quality is bad.
Why?
The quality is bad. The
Why?
player, there's no hero.
Why?
There's no one hero that they can look up to.
Why?
Grassroots, bureaucracy, corruption,
Why?
AIFF.
Why?
I've been giving you the answers to why.
Why?
You can't
Why?
just keep going why.
Why? Nobody loves a loser. That's why. The following of Indian football at the moment, there's no desire to love a loser.
Why? Why? Go on. Why? See how annoying that is? Why? Leave the questions to me. Thank you very much. Right. So you said number 2. What's number 3?
Number 3, get the players out of India. And there's a specific reason for that. And by the way, if any player wants help getting out of India, message me. And I'm being serious about that. Get the players out of India, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a thing called training compensation and solidarity payments. And this comes back to the business of football. The business of football must come first. Training compensation, solidarity payments, it's a FIFA structure whereby if you train or coach a kid from the ages of 12 to 23, you're entitled, for however many years that kid has been in your academy or at your club, you're entitled to some training compensation for all the effort that you put into training the player. Because remember, a kid who's 12 years old isn't getting transferred for $10 gazillion or euros. So that is an important revenue stream for academies and clubs. And then there's a thing called solidarity payments, which is every time that player gets transferred in the future, there's a 5% commission gets passed down the chain between the ages, again, 12 and 23. So from the first professional contract to 23, and then the training compensation is 12 to 23. So from their first professional contract, they get as a 5% compensation. Now, why am I telling you all this, and why is it important? It's important because clubs will then view players, and I've been saying this for years and I'm sick of saying it, their primary focus will be to view players as assets. There are still professional players in India, as we sit here today, that are on 10-month contracts. You're not looking at that talent as an asset if you're giving them a 10-month contract. That's season by season. So if you look at them as assets, and then, of course, when they do go out to places like Europe in particular, the transfer fees that they're exchanging hands for become greater and greater as the player progresses, which means that little trickle down of 5% becomes greater and greater to all those that put the effort in. And when the clubs and academies start seeing the rewards for that, they'll go, ooh, this is a business. This is a viable business.
Right. So we've seen, Baichung, briefly Sunil, Gurpreet, and a few others go. But it's not happened. Is that because we need the scale? We need a large number of these players to go abroad to actually create an impact?
Yeah, that's a good... I mean, first of all, it's desire. They don't want to go abroad, most of them. Some are not brave enough. Some, you've got advisors, agents, parents who would rather stay home. They think they can make more money, which they probably can in the short term, at the youth level in India, but not in the long term. A whole host of reasons. There's one or two that have gone to Slovenia of late, but the point that you make is absolutely bang on. It's a numbers game. You can't have 1, 2, or 3 players going out of India to other leagues elsewhere, tougher leagues around the world, higher leagues around the world, and expect there to be instant reward. There's just not. You need hundreds, if not thousands, going out of India. Just like Brazil and Argentina, probably the biggest exports apart from meat every year in terms of value will be players.
Yeah.
They're all over the world. They're Brazilians, Argentinians playing across the Middle East, across Asia, as well as obviously the big names that are in Europe. So yeah.
I like that. Yeah, look at them as exports, valuable
Yeah,
exports.
look at them. Yeah, look at them as exports, because yes, you need lots of numbers, and I'm saying hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands, but look at them as values. If players go out for a value of, they're getting transferred, not from India, obviously, initially, because they'd be young, but they're getting transferred in Europe for 20 million, 50, bloody hell, we've had some transfers this summer in the hundreds of millions, 100 million. It's a valuable export, and then everything that comes with it.
Right. Starting with money. But I just have one last request for you. It's a request. Can you just say your number to the camera and say, call me? It's for the better of the players. You offered it.
Call me?
Yeah.
What do you mean call me?
You said the players need to reach out to you. They need to call you.
Message
but say
me.
your number loudly and say, call me. Can you do that for the betterment of Indian football, Joseph?
You want me to give my phone number out?
Yeah, and
Right,
say, call me. Very seductively, if you can, please.
No, I'm not.
Come on.
I'm not. I'm not.
Be a sport. I
not-
thought you were patriotic.
I'm not running an OnlyFans site here.
You know you want to do that. Say that. Come on.
Oh, God.
We'll have that phone ringing.
OnlyFans.
You know what? I'm going to get the injury next time, make you do 2 shots, and then put the same request.
Oh, that's on my bucket list before the end of this year's out. I want to visit the Injury Distillery.
Ooh, all right. Fun. We will make that happen. Or maybe Indri can make that happen. Indri, are you watching? There's Joe Morrison who wants to come, and then he'll come there and do the call me. That's it. That's all you need. That's all the marketing you need. On that note, thank you very much, Joe, for joining us once again and for sharing your insights with us. And thank you for joining us again. We will be back very, very soon with another topic on all things Indian football.
Thank you.